Hello, I'm Claire Ward. I'm the Chief Executive of the Institute for Collaborative Working. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak to you today. These are challenging times indeed. It may be a cliched term, but that does not detract from its truthful description and reality of the situation we all find ourselves in right across the globe. If there was ever a need for support for those seeking employment, it is now, as we enter what is anticipated to be the deepest economic slump since records began. We are already aware that this is unlike any other we have faced. Businesses that would in any other time have been viable have been devastated by the impact of COVID. Weddings, leisure and entertainment have, for the most part, been unable to function for the best part of the year. And whilst the cavalry of a vaccine rides over the hill, uncertainty remains. Behaviours and practices we take for granted, eating out, going on holiday, high street shopping, business conferences and events, seeing our family and friends, have all become virtually forbidden, even for those not directly affected by the financial impact of COVID. Whilst millions are losing their jobs, others are in secure employment with rising savings and bank balances due to a lack of opportunity to spend. The financial crash of 2008 led to the government policy of austerity, laying the groundwork of significant growth in insecure and low-paid jobs as we built back towards a period prior to COVID of economic uplift with high levels of employment. As a country, we cannot afford to return to such a policy. But undoubtedly, the generosity of the Chancellor in recent months will one day have to be recouped. Recent announcements of significant public spend on infrastructure, environmental and climate change projects bring hope of new jobs and economic stimulus. Recognising the different causes and consequences of this COVID recession will mean that we have to think imaginatively about where jobs might be in the future, probably in new sectors and industries requiring different skills and significant retraining. Layered on top, of course, is Brexit. From whichever viewpoint you take, it will mean a different trading relationship globally, which for some companies will be tough, but will bring opportunities for others. It might mean adapting the skill sets of employees and future recruits to meet those new challenges. Again, the levels of uncertainty of what it really means for employers and employees adds to the challenges for recruitment. So, for members of ERSA, it's both a challenging time, but also one of great opportunity to influence and support those who must and will play their part in this new world, where skills and training will be the essential tools of an adaptable workforce. The public sector is and will continue to be deeply reliant upon you to help deliver that new workforce, especially where the clients have had their own difficult personal circumstances to navigate and need more than a little help to place them in the right employment or learning opportunities. For many of you, working with government, you will already be aware of the slow shift towards a new way of working, with commissioning requiring more collaboration across sectors and between providers. From health, defence, social security and transport, government departments have become acutely aware that collaborative working can deliver added value to contracts and, more importantly, to outcomes. Government procurement policy is beginning to recognise the opportunity for collaborative working and the value that it can bring to contracts, especially in the cost to taxpayers. However, in many cases, the public sector is yet to fully understand its own role in collaborative relationships, moving from talking the talk to walking the walk. Collaborative working is already the lived experience for our members at the Institute for Collaborative Working. Some of you may not have come across us before, but you will know many of our members: Kia, Babcock, Leonardo, Leidos, Network Rail, Sellafield, Airbus, Costain, to name just a few. The ICW celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, having been established from an initiative led by Lord Keith Joseph and backed by the CBI and DTI as it was at the time. 30 years on, we're a self-funded, not-for-profit, corporate and individual membership organisation. Our purpose, recently renewed and updated, is to support people, organisations and businesses to understand the value of collaboration and the benefits achieved through collaborative working. Our vision, as we enter our next decade of activity, is to be the home of collaboration, where good practice is shared and supported with research, experience and training, building a global community which recognises the development of skills and knowledge of collaborative working practices. Through our community, we will enhance the professional relationships of business, public sector and wider society to produce greater value in the outcomes for all. The experience of our members in practice helped to develop the first global standard for collaborative working, ISO 44001, which has become the backbone for many companies to support the building of better relationships across their supply chains. Across the world, companies and individuals are developing collaborative relationships supported by the framework of the international standard. Our network of members helps to develop good practice in collaborative working. Through our share and learn events and our special interest groups, we develop the thought leadership to continue to improve the understanding of collaborative working. This is supplemented by the research that we commission and the training and development we provide with members and others, all of whom are seeking to understand how best to deliver better value and outcomes. We work closely with the University of Warwick with research and in the provision of our flagship course for ISO 44001 collaborative leaders. Our members are well practiced in collaboration, and they will tell you that the success of collaborative working can be seen in many different parts of a project. Building relationships across the supply chain ensures that problems become owned by all and solved by all. Each participant recognises that their own success depends on the success of others in the project, and they will work collaboratively to find a solution to any problems. The advantages are often seen in more flexible working to deliver results, building long-term and lasting relationships, and in more financially profitable outcomes. Investing in relationships really does pay dividends. Our experience is that collaborative working across organisations helps to innovate too, as companies learn and develop from each other. We encourage this process in the ICW with our Share and Learn events, which allow members from different sectors, defence, construction, technology and beyond, to share the way in which they have solved a challenge and invite other members to learn and adapt the technique to their own circumstances. This experience is a form of collaboration as they help each other to develop. This too could be an opportunity for the employment support sector to identify the good practices and seek to develop those across the industry in support of their clients. Many of you may already be working collaboratively with your partners and through your supply chains without any formal processes. Understanding collaborative working as part of a structured process could significantly improve the opportunities for your business, but also in the skills that you transfer to those seeking jobs and new opportunities. Successful collaborative working requires the right skills and behaviours to be demonstrated. One of those skills is to be able to listen and communicate effectively with a clear understanding of the value that this way of working can bring to the outcomes. For example, by putting a client, perhaps a job seeker or a released offender, at the centre of the picture. Everything that you do with partners, whether that is commissioners of service or employers, is to bring value to that person, which results in them having the skills and the opportunity to secure employment or training. A successful result for the client, for the public service, for the employer, and for your business. Many of the employment support organisations will be tasked with supporting clients with a range of challenges. They may not have the skills or the training to find employment, but this may be only one aspect of the problem. Poverty, insecure housing, victims of domestic abuse, health problems, criminal records, or language barriers could all be part of the extra challenges that they have to overcome to gain successful and secure work. Tackling just one of these may not be the solution, but a more joined-up approach that looks at the person and their needs may be more successful, but would require collaboration across different sectors, budgets, and support organisations. This holistic approach has been the ambition of governments of all political persuasions for some time. It makes sense, both in the outcomes and in the use of resources. Yet government have not been quite as successful to make this work. Wanting something, as we all know, is not enough. We have to put in place the processes and the engagements that give this a proper chance of success. Equally, matching the employers to potential employees may not sit neatly with one support organisation. So it would be in everyone's interest to find ways of collaborating across the sector to reduce the barriers that competition may introduce, which may simply lead to a poorer service and outcome for the client. This week, the Cabinet Office has announced the launch of the Construction Playbook, a new and sector-specific framework for procurement, developing further the policies of government and public sector outsourcing of contracts. Following on from the DWP commissioning strategy launched in the summer, the direction of travel is becoming clearer as the government refines these policy documents, honing in on different sectors. It wants to see much better value for money for taxpayers, but it also wants to measure the social value being delivered. It has begun to recognise how much influence it can have if it creates the right dynamics for collaboration amongst providers. This is an opportunity for all providers to look at how they can work together. Not all relationships can or should be collaborative. The dynamics need to be right, the right partners with the right behaviours and values, and a clear view of the outcomes and benefits of working together. One sector that must surely be right for such an approach is the employment support, which has the opportunity to deliver so much for its clients and the taxpayer. As you look to 2021, I encourage you all to think about the opportunities where collaborative working may be of benefit, and to start now to seek those with like-minded ambition, shared values, and a focus on delivering better outcomes for all. Thank you.